All right. So what we wanted to do is take a moment to talk about relationships in terms of how can you help yourselves out while you are either living together, you're married, and you're at your wit's end because you are so used to going to the office and the two of you not coming together until you got home. But now you have to juggle so many things in your relationship.
Right.
Homeschooling, your relationship in and of itself, your own personal battles that you're dealing with concerning the effects of what the coronavirus has done, the pandemic has done to everyone. It's just so many factors and dynamics. And now it is seemingly impacting your relationship. And Coach CeCe, you were asking the question earlier about, why do we think that is in terms of it being a concern regarding the relationship? Something along those lines. What were you saying?
What being a concern specifically?
So as far as with us addressing,
or this pandemic being a concern in regards to just relationships, because it's disrupting patterns, right? And so if you have a pattern of, like say you and your spouse, both have employment, so you go to work, and so you have some time in the morning. You go to work, and then you'll be back up around 6, 7, 8 o'clock, maybe later, because a lot of us work too much these days. And then you have a couple of hours together in the evening, and you do this 5 days a week. And on the weekends, if you have children per se, you might be doing things with them. I know down here in Georgia, like children in sports is like so big, right? So every single child is involved in something: baseball, football, soccer, track, dance for the girls. I mean, like, it's always some child that's involved in something. So you might be a soccer mom or something like that, and then they say you go to church on Sunday, so you spend a few hours doing that. So you got this routine, right? So now the whole pandemic has disrupted a lot of patterns, and so now you may find yourself more at home. You may find yourself more at home now, face to face and looking in the eye of your spouse, and you may have a question of like, who are you? And they may have a question of like, who are you? Right. And so we just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about, how you could even acknowledge that, the changes had occurred, and then how it's going to affect your relationship, hopefully in a positive way and not in a negative way. Because a lot of times people have so many things are on the surface, right? Even relationships. And so this may become a time where you realize that that's just the fact that, hey, I may not even know this person like I thought I did. Maybe a lot has changed over the years, like if you've been married for a while. So the things that you learned and fell in love with in the beginning may not be the case, and you were able to like skip past those things pre COVID-19, because you were so busy in your lives and you were distracted with other things. And now it's face to face, like, who is this person? Like, is this the person that I wake up to every day? This the person that I come home to every night? Whereas they may have established relationships at work, like work husbands and work wives, where those people might really know them, right? But now you get to experience what these work wives and husbands experience now on a daily basis. And the question is, like, do you like it? And what if you don't? Like, what do you do, right? So that's what we just wanted to talk about for a few minutes.
All right. So these are the things that you can do to help yourself out. The 8 keys to working with your significant other while at home. So we talked about how you can help yourself out when it comes to the parenting aspect, or more so in terms of homeschooling your children. Now, in working with your spouse, same things apply, such as that are effective strategies. Create a schedule together. Plan out your day. Who's doing what? Be able to have a schedule in place so that you all understand the rule of engagement, the expectations, and the objectives with your day. So create a schedule for yourselves. Plan a strategy, making sure that you plan out your goals and effective ways to execute your goals for the day. You can also communicate We were talking about relationships and how oftentimes the biggest factor that really impact relationships or marriages isn't money or sex like we would think, but it's really the biggest culprit is communication, lack thereof. So be open to communicate. You have the opportunity for open dialogue about how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what's going on in your world with your significant other. This can also bring about closeness, a relationship that may have been lost in the sauce with everything that was going on.
Right.
What you think so far?
Yeah, I think it could definitely. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could bring about the closeness, and if it's appearing or seemingly to be a negative thing, you could turn it around to a positive. And some ways in which you can do that is you could think about the reasons why you even fell in love with the person in the first place, right? Now you got time to recapture those moments.
Yes. Right? Yes.
So maybe you guys used to play, so you could, you could play in the house. You could pillow fly fight. You could, maybe you met them at some kind of function or party, and y'all was playing spades, and they was your partner, or they was somebody else's partner. You could play spades now. You could just do so many things. Whatever you fell in love with, you could recapture those moments. And so you may be in a place where it's like, it had been like, uneventful at some point or whatever. You could rekindle the flame, if you will, or you may realize that maybe nothing might change. Maybe nothing changes. Maybe you're just extra excited that you have more time. Like I will hope that I'm in a relationship where, God forbid anything like this happen again. I can't, no. But if something happened and, it's disrupted our everyday and we had been together for a while, that we do get extra time to spend together, that we're actually like happy about it, right? That would be exciting. Like, yay, I'm home. It's just great, And so, if you can remember the reason why you all got together in the first place, then you can go ahead and work towards feeling that same feelings again, or feeling new feelings. It could be even better the second time around, because sometimes people even when they get together and decide to be a couple and get married, they're living in the fog. Like they're in the hustle and bustle of life, and so they like each other enough. They know the essence of each other. They in love, but and when something like this happens, it may give them an opportunity to really, really know them. Like, dang, I really love you. Like, that person who you cook for all the time may have now opportunity to cook for you, right? Because now they're home. Whereas before they might have been, out there working, a sole provider. A lot of women, stay home. A lot of men stay home. I mean, whatever the dynamics of your home is, or one might work later than the other, whatever, where the other one usually doesn't get an opportunity to do some of the functions that the other one does. They might have that time now. So I know that my love language is gifts and services. So, if I was in the home with, I was going to say trap. I don't want to say trap. In the home with my significant other, and they did some laundry, folded some clothes, cooked some food, vacuumed, dusted, something, I don't know, fed the fish. I would be like, oh my God, I love you so much, because they would be speaking my love language. And so if you don't know what your love language is, now is the time to find out. You got some time, right? So there's a wonderful, wonderful book. I don't know the author offhand, I can find it, but it's a purple book, and it's called The 5 Love Languages. So you could find out, what your love language is if you never knew before. And then your spouse could find out what theirs is, and then you guys can all work together and explore on what that looks like. Maybe you never had an opportunity to see what that looks like. So, all hope isn't lost if you find yourself looking at each other sideways, right? Because you got together for a reason, and I hope it just wasn't for sex. And if it was, you could have plenty of that, so we'll get a little bit more into that. But yeah, absolutely. I think that, it definitely can be a concern. It's definitely, it could be a real life issue, provided that we're living in a time with the COVID-19 knocking at our front doors per se. And it's just like, well, wow, I never had this time with my significant other. I never really shared this space like this, and so it could present its challenges, but it also can present its rewards, right? So that is just my take on it.
Well said. Well said. And the author is called, his name is Gary Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
Of languages. So y'all can check that out and be blessed by it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the final tips to leave with you on how to work with your significant other while at home during this pandemic is to make sure that you create boundaries in terms of respecting the slots. There's something that I call respecting the slots. And what is that? It just means that if you have a designated time to do certain things, then preserve that, as opposed to trying to multitask, trying to fit things in, because that's just going to elevate your stress and your frustration. And we're here to help you to lower your stress levels and not get frustrated and not feel overwhelmed or overworked or burdened or burnt out, trying to make everything work, trying to blend things in. Blend where you can and working with your significant other where it applies and when it is feasible and realistic. But if it's not, then please just preserve your boundaries, respect your slots. If you have a day, you have different tasks that is assigned to this particular time frame, then protect that. That's your time that you have to get things done. And it's okay. It's perfectly okay to do that. And communicate that. Make sure that y'all are on the same page and knowing that what y'all doing, what times you are unavailable, so to speak, for one another, and the times that you do have that you can make yourselves available for one another. Make sure that you take breaks, just like you were at work and wherever else you may have been. Make sure that you incorporate breaks during your time, your day to day, and use that time, as Coach CeCe pretty much said, make most of it. Have time together, have fun together. Make sure that you eat, make sure that you drink, make sure that you replenish yourself, make sure that you stretch, make sure that you pee, make sure that you make those things happen, as well as taking breaks to make some time for one another when you're able to. When it comes to shared responsibility in teaching your children, if you're homeschooling, then make sure that you alternate, see who's going to do what. Share the responsibility. So it's not on one person and then the other person's going to be upset or feel slighted because the responsibility and the burden is on that one person. Share the responsibility. Any thoughts or comments to that, Coach CeCe?
No, I love the shared responsibility part because, again, what could have been one person's job now can become two, right? Mm-hmm. And so it could help with relieving stress, right? It can help with relieving stress and maybe bring about some good stress in your life that you guys can work on together. So, yes. So, yes, together we stand and together we overcome, right? And so that is a model which we live by. And so as couples, you two can stand together and overcome together. So if you're handling the situation as a couple with this COVID-19 and you have children or you don't have children, just be each other's rock, right? This is not a time to add added stress to anybody's life, right? Like, reminisce on the reasons why you all got together. Like, for real, like, write it down, journal it if you can't quite remember offhand, and then talk about it. Mm-hmm. Make a fun activity about it. Right? Recapture those moments because a lot of people's moments are fleeting and passing by and they no longer have moments, right? During this time. So, it's time to appreciate, love on one another. Hopefully, redefine what your friendship is. And hopefully you were friends before you became lovers, right? And if you weren't, now is there no better time like the present? Right. So that's what we would definitely encourage you to do.
Excellent. And to bring it home, thank you so much for sharing that, Coach CeCe. And to bring this home, it's about making sure that you eliminate distractions. So extending grace and courtesy to yourself, by which you are to be able to just give yourself that grace that there's no hiccups, there's no hangups, there's no distractions that will play part with you getting frustrated. We're helping you to alleviate any stressors that can come up because of everything that's going on. So give yourself grace, eliminate the distractions, and please be assured that you all will get through this. Tell yourselves, to your own selves and to one another, that things will get better. You will get through this.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, or.
Oh, yes.
That's
and
right.
why? Because you will do this. You shall do this. You are
right.
doing it.
Because why? You have a history of being a survivor.
That's right.
So.
That's right. You are resilient. You've been through other things. You've been through things before in your life. You got through it. You're going to get through this. All right. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us.
Just love this opportunity to just pour into you and to help you to know how to thrive through trauma and to press past this pandemic.